Tanate, you are the biggest online lender there. Can you tell us when you think ING can start taking on new clients again in Italy?
Hi, good morning. Very nice to be on your show. But just to remind you of the results for the quarter, I think we're very pleased with adding almost 300,000 new primary customer, which now takes ING to over 38 million customer worldwide in the retail space. And as you mentioned, strong growth in terms of loans, 7.5 billion euros in loan growth, 11 billion in terms of deposits, and now just a little over 2 billion euros in terms of pre-tax profit, with a return on equity for us now of almost 11%. So we're very pleased about the solid results that we have. Now, addressing your specific questions on Italy, we're in constant dialogue with our regulators in Italy about the enhancement and remediations that we're taking steps in Italy. And as we go through this process, we hope to be in a better position to guide the market when we can actually start taking on new customers in the latter part of this year or beginning of next year. Having said that, I think we continue to service our customers in Italy as normal for now.
Tanate, great to speak to you this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. As you were saying, the second quarter underlying pre-tax came in better than expected, but second quarter net interest income missed the estimates. Do you expect net interest income to still keep being under pressure given the lower for longer rates environment being signalled by central banks globally, including the ECB?
Indeed, we have pressure from, well, you call it low for long, but I would imagine that you can also call it negative for long interest rate environment, given where we are now in the cycle. And I think we are looking in terms of other strategies beyond what we're doing now to basically mitigate that particular impact. Diversifying, for example, our business geographically to non-Eurozone countries, repricing our asset books, in terms of we see across the board better margins in mortgages, for example, improving our fee income, and of course, looking for better operational efficiency, more digitization of our processes and customer journeys as well. But indeed, more pressure from savings margin.
It was seemingly leaked that ING was looking into a possibility of acquiring Commerzbank. I wonder if you think national governments are making it more difficult for trans-border M&A to happen in the banking industry.
Yeah. I think these are probably rumors for some months ago, and I think I would like to say that we don't comment on any specific situation. But I would say that from an ING perspective, some of the big principles for any cross-border deals is we must be able to move liquidity, we must be able to move capital across border, and that environment from a banking union perspective doesn't exist today.
Tanate, what are your strategic plans with the Turkey business? Do you plan to sell or downsize it?
I think in terms of our franchise in Turkey, we've been there for a long time. We have this bank now well over 10 years. It is a franchise that we like. Having said that, it is representing a small fraction of our overall asset numbers, right? About 3% of our asset base. So our colleagues there are doing well despite the rather difficult situation they find themselves in macroeconomically. So we're quite pleased with how things go in Turkey, but managing obviously the downside risk from a credit perspective.
One of the ways that you've made your money throughout the years is being on the avant-garde of tech banking, online banking, etc. You've now joined a consortium of banks that are using blockchain to offer an international currency of sorts. I wonder what you think about that in light of the criticism Facebook has received for Libra.
I think in terms of distributed ledger technology, obviously ING is at the forefront of that. I think what we do as an institution for now is we take an observant view. We participate, we make inquiries, we also check with regulators how they feel about this new technology. But again, it's one of the many innovation initiatives that we do as a bank, and there are many others that we can talk about. But I think, yes, indeed, it's one area of interest, and we take a watch-and-see attitude towards that technology.
What are you hearing, Tanate, about USC, about the Universal Standard Coin?
I'm not so familiar with that topic there, sorry. Yeah.
Tanate, just briefly, earlier this year, ING said it's looking for hundreds of extra employees to fight money laundering. How's that impacting costs?
Yes. I think we announced as Q2 that we have now over 3,000 staff working on our AML and KYC programs. So indeed, we're adding staff in that initiative, and it does bring additional costs. But we think it's very much the primary goal for the bank to make sure that we keep the bank safe and compliant. So we're trying to compensate that with other measures. Obviously, some of our cost savings programs are of course, having effect that help us basically cushion the cost increases from these programs. Having said that, I would say that the KYC costs are partly structural and partly ongoing.